our great pleasure and honor to host the Miracle Marathon, the annual fundraiser for Children's of Wisconsin, one of the finest children's hospitals in the entire universe. And if you don't believe me, well, these next folks will convince you. We're going to start with Ben Anderson. Ben, up in the Door County area. Ben, thank you for joining us. How are you today?
I'm doing really well. I'm happy to be here, honored to speak about the Children's Hospital of Wisconsin, and to be here with my buddy Micah and his family.
Micah's here. Hi, Micah. How old are you, Micah? How old are you now? 5 years old?
Wow.
Is that your mom and dad with you, Kayla and Brian? Right?
Hi, guys.
Hi, guys. How are you?
Micah, are you married? Micah, are you married?
No, but you.
What is this guy asking
He's like,
me?
what?
Yeah.
What are you talking about? I'm 5 years old. You know.
You do have
Okay,
girlfriends. I bet
good.
you do.
That's the key. That is the key. All right, Ben, we're gonna start with you because it was about 2 years ago. You were on Facebook, and you just were reading through a story, and it was about a story of a young person in Milwaukee who needed a liver. Is that correct?
Yeah, it was a little girl who actually needed a liver, and I clicked on the link because I'm like, I didn't know living people could donate livers, and I clicked on it and I was reading through it, and unfortunately, I was too big of a candidate to donate to that child, but they had a link to Frederick Hospital's living live liver donor program. So I clicked on it, kind of saved the link. Maybe I can check it out later. And truthfully, I got busy working in Door County, working at 2 restaurants, and I kind of forgot about it. And then it was coming into the fall, and I was thinking, I want to take some time off of work. And then I found the link again, and I'm like, well, I think I'm gonna sign up. I'm gonna see what's out there and see if I can help a child in need. And kind of signed up in August and heard back in September, and then just kind of started the snowball of events, really.
Ben, you signed up as what they call an altruistic donor, which means that you wanted your donation to go to a child, but you were inspired by someone who had given a speech. Explain that.
I get choked up. It was actually it would have been his 22nd birthday yesterday. His name's Bo Johnson. He actually was taken care of at Children's Hospital. He was a child 5 years younger than me, from Sister Bay, the same town as me. He was diagnosed with leukemia, and unfortunately, Bo passed away from leukemia after a year-long battle. But before he passed away, he gave a speech to our entire school community about the importance of paying it forward and helping one another and just being an altruistic, good person. And I was 17 years old when I heard this, and it stuck with me. And I wear his, besides the Donate Life bracelet, I wear the Go Bo Foundation bracelet every day. And I think about him, and that's why when I signed up, they asked if I want to donate to an adult or a child, and they told me there was about 12 children waiting for livers at Children's Hospital. And I said, any child, if they can take as much liver as I can, they can have it. I had Bo's message in my mind, and well, here's Micah.
Here's Micah.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's segue over. Kayla, Micah was diagnosed. How old was he? He was diagnosed with a very rare condition, and he was very young, wasn't he?
He was 3.
Okay.
Actually, he was 6 weeks old when he was first diagnosed.
Yeah, very 6 weeks old. He was very yellow, we noticed, so we got rushed we went to our hospital, then they, ended up in Milwaukee, and they diagnosed him with it's a disease, it's a mouthful. It's called alpha-1 antitrypsin deficiency. So you can imagine how long that took us to learn to say that.
Yeah. And we should establish, Ben's up in Door County. You guys are in Michigan, correct? Where do you guys live?
Yeah. We live in the UP of Michigan in Iron Mountain. It's Michigan State country. This is where Tom Izzo and Steve Mariucci grew up. So
Oh yeah, right. Okay. Well, we know Mariucci from his days with the Packers, right? That was a big thing. All right, so let's Mom, we'll go back to Kayla. Tell us about Micah's condition and when it accelerated to the point where it was clear he was going to need a donation.
In 2018, he started getting sick just one after another. It was upper respiratory infection, double ear infection, croup. It was just one thing after another. And then that following summer, he had a stomach infection, and then it went away and came back. And that's when he really took a turn for the worse, and they ended up putting him on the list actually that July.
And then did he get a liver right away, or did you guys have to wait for a while?
He went on in July. It took a little while. And then it was actually the day after my birthday when we got the call. We didn't know it was Ben at the time, but that we got the call. They had a liver for him.
So how did you know that it was Ben? How did that whole thing transpire?
So we didn't know until after the surgery and everything. Actually, before I even knew it was Ben, I had given the nurses a picture of Micah with a thank you and love Micah. And I put a note on the back. Now at this time, again, I still had no clue that it was Ben. And it was probably a few weeks after that we ended up meeting in person, but I didn't know it was him until like a week before we met.
And Ben, what does that feel like from your point of view?
I'm tearing up still now. I remember the moment I got the card the day after the surgery. So obviously it was a very intense surgery. I was kind of out of it. And Dr. Hong and the nurses came in to check on me, and they said, here's a card. It's from the recipient's family. There's a picture of Micah, and it was everything. It made this whole process become more real. Even though I already had the surgery, there's a child alive because of what I did. And I think it ended up being about 2 weeks post-surgery when we met. And it feels like a Hallmark movie, to be a little cheesy, you know. The happy ending that happens in real life that you never hear about. We're buddies. It's great.
Cool.
Well, you can
That's
watch
awesome.
that video too. There's a link on our page. It's a pretty unbelievable moment. And I mean, Ben, you're a pretty amazing guy. There's one thing to hear the speech and be touched by that, and to think, oh, I'd really like to pay it forward someday. And then there's, you looked up and you saw the liver the list, but then to actually go and do that, I don't know how many people would have done that. I hope you know what kind of a hero you are.
I appreciate it, and I want more people to know people can do it. It does take a special person. You have to be, physically healthy and mentally strong, but more people should sign up. And that's kind of what Kayla and Brian and Micah and we're trying to get people to sign up, to be live liver donors and live kidney donors. There's people waiting on the waiting list, and it's important.
Brian, can you tell the story of when you met Ben? What do you guys say to him? How emotional was that meeting?
Well, I met him. I was actually home, and I was on the FaceTime, and I just said, what do you say to somebody that just gives so selflessly to that? I could say thank you a million times, and it wouldn't be enough for this guy.
I think he did too.
Because I did. I think it was every other sentence I got a thank you in there somewhere. I mean, it's just, you don't see. I remember thinking, I'm 30. I was 32 at the time, but I was like, at 24 years old, I wasn't thinking about being that, selfless and giving to somebody else. You know what I mean? That wasn't on my top priority. Just to see somebody like him at his age do that kind of thing, it's incredible.
Ben, you discussed about the topic of organ donation, but I want to ask you about your impression of Children's Wisconsin from your perspective. Fredert and Children's, what was that experience like for you?
I can't speak highly enough of my experience at Fredert. I had the best care around the clock. I was in the hospital 10 days. I've never spent a night in the hospital. So it was my first stint. 10 out of 10. I recommend, honestly, the transplant, the transplant ICU there. I could name all the nurses. It would take all day, but I had tremendous care. But I had heard about Children's Hospital from Bo's battle with leukemia and all the amazing things that they did for Bo that, help him fight the leukemia. But I had never been there in person. And I remember the day I met Micah and his family. Frater and Children's are connected underground. So we're walking through the tunnels, and all of a sudden we're up in the Children's, and I just got chills. It was insane what those doctors and nurses and the care teams were doing. I remember being on Micah's floor and seeing his room, and Micah was tiny. He was this little, innocent child who was, waiting for a liver to help save his life. And that team did it. I can't speak highly enough of, and I'm sure Kayla and Brian can say the same praises.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. You look back at pictures now of him.
Right. I mean, he's grown so much physically and emotionally all the way around. And that's because of the care. It takes a village, especially when you've got a child with so many issues. How is he doing? Right. I mean, he looks great. Micah, how are you feeling? Are you doing really well? Are you feeling good? Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you like hanging out with Ben? Is he a good friend of yours?
Yeah. I was in the hospital for a long time ago.
Yeah.
And I met my buddy Ben at Ronald McDonald ago.
Well, that's another thing. The Ronald McDonald House was a really big deal for you guys, wasn't it? Kayla, you guys spent a lot of time there.
Yeah, he was in the hospital for almost 2 months. We spent a lot of time there, and we had met Ben there a few times while he was there for his checkups. He would stop over and see us. And
Kayla, why do you think it's important that people support Children's Wisconsin?
Children's of Wisconsin is one of the best hospitals we've ever been to. They make sure that you understand everything from the beginning to the end. They make it in a way where that's easy to understand, because medical can get very confusing very quickly. There's a lot of big words, big terms, but they made sure we understood everything, made sure that Mike was comfortable, but also made sure that we were comfortable, which was just as important.
Yeah.
Brian, a lot of times dads want to fix things. That's kind of the way we're wired, but you can't fix something like in Micah's situation. As a dad, what did it feel like to have to hand Micah over the care of your beautiful son to someone else?
It was hard. I mean, like you said, it's just driven in our male DNA to we can fix that, or we can do something about it. And it's just, at first it was a feeling of just helplessness. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And the more we went on, you realize very quickly that he's in some of the best care around. So that immediately sets your mind. But then, like, when you get to there and they say, all right, you're going to stay at the Ronald McDonald House, because we're thinking we're going to be here for the long haul, and hotels aren't cheap. So they said, nope, you don't have to worry about that. I mean, anything you need there, they make ways of getting you the help that you need at that time of your life,
Right. Ben, you still working jobs at restaurants up in Door County?
Yeah. So I have some exciting news. I got into graduate school at the University of Minnesota, Twin Cities.
Nice. Congratulations.
Good job.
Thank you. Yeah. So unfortunately, I'll be leaving Door County this summer, and I'm going to be pursuing early childhood and infant mental health counseling. So
amazing.
Well, I think from your perspective, you've got some real life experience, I think, that you could share. I think you could inspire more people, Ben. Thank you so much for not just saving Micah's life, but hopefully by appearing on the Radiothon here, both you and of course, Kayla and Brian, Micah, hopefully people will not just mark that off and donate organs, but maybe donate some money, because that's really what this is all about. Thank you so much for your time, you guys. It was great to meet you. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you.
All right. Take care.
Bye.
All right. See you later. Bye, Micah. Mike is 5 years old, and because of Ben, he is alive and thriving and looking and feeling great. And because of people like you donating money to Children's Wisconsin, Children's continues to be one of the finest hospitals in the world. Please make these phones ring now. This is the Miracle Marathon.